Hi, everyone. My name is Danielle Fountain, and I am the founder of the One Realty here in Austin, Texas, where we take a data-driven, all-in-one approach to real estate. So we are going to talk a weekly update about what is happening in Austin, and we are talking about buyers are coming back. Buyers are coming back at a weird time. So normally when we're in the fall, we're actually seeing a decline in the buyer activity. But with interest rates having fallen in September, and I know we just saw an uptick today even. um, they are not as low as they were in September at a 6.11%. Right now, we are close to that like 6.4% range. With that being said, we are still significantly lower year over year, where we were sitting at a 7% last year. Ladies and gentlemen, interest rates do matter. And I can flat out say that when I follow the data and I see interest rates every month, I can tell you exactly what I'm going to see. Not exactly, but I can tell you, hey, we're probably going to see a trend of buyers coming back. So without further ado, we are going to hop into where the Austin real estate market is currently, where it was last year. At this time, we're going to look at month over month. We're going to look at not June. We're going to look at November's data. We're going to look at October's sales report. But first, we are going to hop in and we are going to see where we were and where we are in Austin for our week over week data. So without further ado, we are going to check out. So I track weekly what is happening in the Austin real estate market as far as the number of sales, what is pending, what is happening in our market. So first and foremost that we're going to see up here, and I'll make this a little bit bigger so that you can see it. If you would like more of this data up front, just shoot me a DM and we can kind of talk about that. So first over week, we have seen a decrease in listings. So we're down. We're finally below 3,000, which a couple years ago, no one would have dreamt that we would have even had inventory in the 3,000s. Well, we do. Our inventory, though, finally, we have dipped below that 3,000 marker, even though if we go back and we look for October, we had like over 1,000 new listings. And I'll show you that data too in a second. So average price point slightly fell. We're a little under, a little over 1.05 million, and with a median price point just below 650,000. Now, that is not our sales price point. That is not what people are buying at for the final numbers. When we get into the data, you'll see that we're significantly lower for our average and our median sales data. This is just what's also being listed. With that, days on market, we're looking at on average about 3 months for the days on market, and a median of a little bit over 2 months that we're seeing. This is very, very similar to where we were seeing in the fall of last year. Now, listings with the price reduction, you can see 27 fewer houses with the price reduction this week. However, because we fell by 75 listings, the number of listings with the price reduction, we did go up for a little spike, 0.5%. So a little over 57% of our listings have had a price reduction. With the new listings coming on, we did see a pop in some new listings, but this is very, very small. So for the week, 171 new listings, 27 of them were repeat. The very interesting thing is, look how low these price points are. If we compare it to the average of 1.05 million as our average, and we are at 865, you're seeing that couple things. One, either that sellers that are coming on, they're coming on strategically to get their house sold and moved immediately, or number two, we're just not seeing some of the higher end luxury homes make it to the market. That being said, Austin has been known for, if you talk around to agents, is known for some off-market deals happening. But we have seen over the past year, with it taking longer to sell, we've seen some of those properties start to come to the market that you wouldn't have ever seen 2-3 years ago. So with that, I like to look at also, if we're looking at the decrease in listings, I also want to know, why are they going pending? Are they being taken off? You can see week over week, the same amount. We had 93 houses essentially either put on hold, withdrawn, or that they were expired. You can see all of them. They're giving a little bit over 100 days. So about 3.5 months is what it's taking before people are taking their homes off of the market. And you're going to kind of see, here's as far as like days and what is happening with all of those. So we are going to hop up here to what is our pending data. So if you're just joining me, my name is Danielle Fountain. I'm the founder of the One Realty, where we take a data-driven, all-in-one approach to real estate. That being said, we have seen an increase in the number of buyers that are coming to the market. So you see right here, 17 more buyers week over week. We've seen like a pending going up. And I can show you a little bit data. If we look at what is happening weekly, we've started to see a trend. For the past like 11 weeks, we've outperformed 2023 and 2024, except for like maybe 1 week, meaning we are seeing more pendings this year than the prior 2 years for kind of this last quarter. That being said, days on market, you're going to see this shift up. And the reason we're seeing this shift up is some of these older houses that have been sitting on the market are starting to move. If this was shifting down, that would likely mean that we're seeing the new listings like being taken off the market. But because our days on market are going up, that means that buyers are actually going out there and they're negotiating deals with maybe houses that have been sitting on the market longer. As I promised above, our average price point and our median price point for what is going under contract is significantly less than what we're seeing our list price point. Makes complete sense as far as where the buyers are. So we're seeing median pending price around 600,000. Our average pending price around 834,000. We're also seeing an increase in the number of listings that are under contract with a price reduction. As expected, you can see that's at almost 60%, which is higher than what we're seeing up here for the number of new listings that have had a price reduction just because they're going pending. Now, this shows us, hey, we're seeing more pending activity. I can say I have three buyers. 3 of my buyers had houses that they were interested in. They've been watching houses go under contract. 1, we acted a little bit slow. We did yesterday, we were going to make an offer and found out that they had another offer they couldn't hold off on. And so they executed. So if you see an agent saying, hey, we've got another offer in hand or we're negotiating, a year and a half ago, I might not have believed it. I'm actually starting to believe it now. I'm seeing it happen more often. I'm kind of seeing these quality houses that have been sitting on the market and people are going, what's wrong with it? Why has it been sitting so long? And those have started to move. With the number of pendings going up, we also expect to see the number of sales going up. So you can see right here, the past 30 days, we've had 611 sales. It's 2 more. These aren't huge numbers. I really think that we're going to see towards the end of this month, if our pending data keeps going up, we're going to continue to see this rise. We also did see, this is very interesting, our average sales price and our median sales price, both of them went up by about 15,000. So we're looking at 600,000 for your median. Your average sales price is 857. A lot of times you'll see data for Austin, and you're going to see that gets put out, and you'll see it all over social media, and you're going to see the average and median sales price, and you're going to see them lower than this for the city of Austin. And you're going to go, Danielle, why is that different? Well, I am only including single family homes. A lot of the data that gets released includes condos and townhouses. They make it seem like Austin's a little bit more affordable, but in actuality, they're not giving you the full story. I am I'm focused solely on single family homes. So this data is for single family homes. We're not looking at condos. We're not looking at townhouses. We are looking at single family homes. So you see that price point goes up 15. Now, I can't say there's some amazing houses that are out there that are significantly below that you would not have dreamt of a couple years ago that we're seeing in Austin. We're seeing in the 4s. We're seeing in the 3s. Like there are houses out there. You just have to look for them. Average days on market, we're seeing this kind of dip down. I expect us to see it dip back up because you can see it right here. We're dipping up here. We're going to dip down currently, but we'll probably go up for our sales data. I don't really even like to look at days on market for our sales data because that right there, that's outdated. If you want to see how long it takes a house to go pending, you need to actually look at where we are pending. Don't even look at the sales data. Sales data is by time you're comparing it, you're 30 to 45 days past what you should be looking at. Your pending data, that is your leading indicator. You need to look at your pending data, not the sales data for days on market. Now, for sales price and percentage of sales price that we see below, that's going to kind of give you an idea. So we're seeing right here, we're seeing our close price to list price. So that's going to be close price to what it's currently listed at, and the original list price. And the reason it's different is your original list price is before there was any price cuts. Saying that we're having like 57% of our listings have price cuts, that is obviously why there is going to be a difference. As we see the number of price cuts go down, these numbers are going to also become closer. So with that being said, you're seeing people are getting about 3%, 3.5% under list price is kind of the average across Austin. if you are looking to buy in Austin, don't use this data for that specific area. You need to drill down and get your micro data for the area around the house and the quality of the houses that you're looking for. This is just general picture in Austin. If you are looking for a particular property, or if you are selling your property, we need to really drill down on that specific area to give you an idea of what things are being sold for. Now, if we run into older houses that have been on the market longer, that's going to kind of change things as well. So finally, if we look to close to original list price, this is interesting. This went up 1% right here. Probably also due to the fact that we've seen the number of houses with a price cut have started to decrease. At one point, we were over 60%. We're like 57%. Not a huge difference, but it's also, hey, people are taking a little bit longer to sell. So you're looking at, you're about 6 to 8% under original list price for the average of Austin. Now, we can continue to talk. This is just week over week data. Week over week data is good if you're tracking, if we're thinking the market's shifting. We're going to really hone in on week over week data. But more importantly, sometimes it's also good to see what is happening big picture. And then I just realized for pending data, we didn't talk about our new weekly pendings. So this week we had 179 homes go pending. And that for this time of year that's amazing. So if we look to see this and we look at our pending data, so my pending data, I track pending data weekly and I want to see, hey, what is happening? So if we look last year at this time, we did have a bump up right here in November, like the following week. So we're at this week right here. Last year, we were having 136. This year, 179. There is more buyer activity now, which also goes back to interest rates. If you look right here, our interest rates are in the low sixes. If we go to last year at this time, we were in the high sixes, almost 7. Actually 7 if we're looking in November, 7%. That is going to change buyers' mentality and who are out there and what they're willing to offer. So having this shows you that interest rates do matter. We are seeing buyers come back when interest rates go down. Now, let's hop into monthly data. So big fan of monthly data. I want to see how we're doing it. September in Austin was horrible, meaning it was a very slow month. But in September, we had the lower interest rates. So September's lower interest rates gave us better data for October. So in October, we closed 684 homes. That is more than last year at 640. However, still significantly below the historical average. So historical average right here since 2005 was around 884 homes. And we closed 684 homes. So about 200 off. That being said, we can look at where is the price year over year? How do we perform year over year? Well, for our average price is up 3.86%, around 31,000. But our median was down almost a little less than 4,000. So, and that's a little more than 0.5%. So nothing major swinging that way. What we do see is that houses close closer to their list price and their original list price. And we're seeing it in both of these categories that you're seeing kind of that activity. Also, if we look at, so this was year over year. If we look at month over month, you're also going to see that increase. We see that we increased our sales price. September was not a great, well, for sellers, it wasn't great. If you're a buyer, it was great. So it depends on how you look at it. For buyers, great September. For sellers, not so great September. So month over month, we went up 8.67% on our average price point, was slightly down on our median. Overall, we are once again closing out closer to the list price. You can kind of see that right here as it's happening. And then year to date, we're very close to where we were in December of last year for our prices, for our average price. Our median price is down. I do think that we are going to see at the end of all of this, by the end of the year, I think last year's December's might have been stronger as far as our median price point. Our average might be very, I say similar. We'll just have to wait and see. Now, if we look at November, a lot of red here in November, but that's because we're early on the month. So obviously our sales data, we are seeing a decrease in our prices for our average price point and our median price point. And if you look at month over month, the only thing that we're really higher in is our median went up a little bit, but our average is down. And then our close price to list price, that is down as well. So good news for a buyer. Seller's not as great. But our close price to original list price is slightly higher in November. Now, we are early on in November. I say early on, we're halfway through it, but we probably only have 1/4 of the data. We'll probably keep getting data typically until mid-December. So what does all of this mean for my buyers and for my sellers? Well, for my buyers, if you are considering buying, figure out your buy box, look around, start watching. If houses are moving quicker in that area, it might be a signal that, hey, maybe you've kind of hit the bottom. I've seen the bottom hit in a few areas, and I'm seeing it happen. So people are starting to be a little bit more proactive on it. The other thing is that when sellers start getting multiple showings for houses, they tend to negotiate a little bit less. So you want to kind of get in the door before they're seeing lots of showings. And typically we see showings start to pick up towards the end of the year as people are getting ready for the moves that happen between the years. Typical, they're starting new schools, or if people are also buying in the beginning of next year or end of the year in regards to what is their tax advantage and tax purposes behind it. That being said, buyers really drill down and see kind of what's going on. Sellers, vice versa, see if houses in your area, maybe not your house, see if they're moving. If houses are moving in your area, that means, hey, there's buyers and maybe it's your price. If houses aren't moving, it might have to do with the fact that there's not buyers necessarily looking in that area. And so maybe you just kind of want to hold off a little bit longer, but you really want to get the data, see how your price, see how your comparison, see how your house compares. I mean, you should be having professional photos. You want to make sure that your house is in great presentation to those around it. So with that, my name is Danielle Marie from the One Realty here in Austin, Texas, where we take a data-driven all-in-one approach to help buyers and sellers. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you have questions on the Austin real estate market, please reach out, and I look forward to hearing from you.